Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of JR14. Today we're going to be replacing the side-to-side shift linkage and the actual gear linkage here, all for the Mark 7 using Forged Motorsport linkage kit, which is over there. So without further ado, let's get to it. Let's go. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to be focusing on, I know it looks like a mess, but I try to take the battery tray out to actually get better accessibility to the linkage that you see here. So I can't zoom in with this lens, but what I'll try to do is I'll actually take this off the tripod so I can show you exactly what I'm talking about. So down here, we're actually going to be changing the linkage out. So we're going to be swapping this guy out, which will actually give us shorter to shorter, like bringing the gears closer together. And this will actually get rid of some of the slop from side to side. So that's all going to be pretty good. So I just have to figure out now how to take this apart in regards of this part. This part I've done before. You haven't seen that on my channel, but this is actually the Club Sport, the European short shifter from Volkswagen itself. I want something a little bit more shorter than that, especially since I'm going on a track. This one is actually stock. I've never taken this apart before, but it can't be too bad. There's really only 3 parts to it. So without further ado, I'm going to show you how to take off both right now. On any of the boxes with Forged Motorsport, if you do not know the instructions, they give you like a little link here. You could type that code in and then actually the URL, and it's actually going to take you to the UK page, and the UK page will actually show you the full PDF instructions on every single part that they have. So that's a little bit helpful as well to try to get everything underway. So what I'm going to try to do now is that I'm actually going to, since I'm unfamiliar with this, piece right here, what I'm actually going to do is that I'm actually going to go ahead and get the instructions for that on my phone, and then I'll be able to show you guys step by step. I think that's only fair, and then you guys know that I'm not perfect as well. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is that we're going to actually remove all the clips for the linkages. So we got one here, another one here. US models, actually, you just pry them out, and you have to remove this plastic clip right here for the side-to-side bracket. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. Okay, when you're taking these clips off, I would say do it in a way where it doesn't spring off. So you just lift up like this, and then you just slide forward. Don't lose these because they're very, very difficult to get from Volkswagen. I learned that from a couple people who told me about it before. So just make sure that you do that. So let's lift this guy up. So these linkages here, what you do is like what Paul said in his videos, you're pulling that off the shifter linkage at the end of the cable. So all you're doing is this, you're pulling back and then you twist it and then it locks in place. So when you put it back in, all you got to do is just slide it back in, twist it, and it pops back in place and it locks on. Now we're going to remove this one so I can show you guys something. I don't know if you guys can see this right here. This I learned from Shop Tap. All you need to do is just pry this back with like a screwdriver or something. Just pry it off with a flathead. That didn't work the way I wanted it to. Be careful with your hands because this hurts a lot. It's held on by a rubber grommet, so it's a little difficult to get off, especially since you haven't done it before. Okay, so we got that off. So we can move that to the side now. So now, what we're going to do is we're going to crack this nut loose for this for the center shifter here. And I believe that is a 10 millimeter, if I'm not mistaken. No, it's definitely too small to be a 10. Probably a 13. Let me see. Oh, conveniently I have a 13. In a way, if you get lost to where you think what gear this is in, pushing down on it puts it in neutral. So just always remember, if you're able to push down on this, it's in neutral. So What you don't want to do is to throw it out of neutral and into a gear. So hang on 1 second. Like I just did. Okay, so a couple things that I did off camera. This white little piece here actually goes for the side to side shift point right here, and it actually holds this plastic piece in place. So now we're able to go ahead and remove everything all in one shot. First thing I want to do first is push this back, and then once I push that back, I'm able to go ahead and get this 13mm bolt out, which you see right there, and crack the 13mm bolt. Sorry about that, ran out of battery really quickly, but like I said, we're about to get this 13mm bolt out. Okay, and we're good on that. All right, so now once you get this out, it's wise just to put it in neutral and just wiggle it back and forth. Keep wiggling it and it should come out. You're probably gonna have a little bit of a problem with this. Last time I did this was at like 10,000 miles. So it's pretty much in here. I'm gonna get some WD-40 and spray onto that so we can get it loosened up a little bit. I don't know if you guys can see that. When you're taking this out, make sure that you put the car in neutral. And the way you know the car's in neutral is when you push down on this and it can go up and down. Now, if you see this, I don't know if you guys look on the right-hand side of that. I don't know if you see the little square. Let's see if you can see that. See that the notch is a little different on the left-hand side. This can only go in one way or out one way. Even aftermarket ones, even aftermarket companies like Forge Motorsports know this. So they have a different spline, so you can't put this in wrong. So it's not like you're going to be in first, but you end up in another gear or something like that. So don't worry about that. So now, all we have to do now is just assemble all the pieces back. All we have to do is just assemble everything back together, and we'll have a shorter shifter. We'll have a short shift kit already installed in Project Mark 7. So I'm excited, so let's go. So this is the side linkage here. So this is going to replace this. So as you can see, they're kind of, it's already shorter by default. This one's a little bit longer, and it's completely cut plastic. This one's metal, so you can tell it's built a little bit better than the OEM one. So you don't need the plastic brittleness anymore that can tend to break or crack. The cool thing is that now you have side to side. So pretty much there's adjustment here. So you put the nut back here and you adjust it here, and then they give you different adapters. So you have to see which one of these. Come on, focus. Okay, there we go. So you have to see which one of these actually works well with the bracket. So I'll show you that right now. So I found the first one, and the first one seems to be the right fit. You're going to put a clip at the end of this, and that's pretty much going to be it. So now it's pretty much going to look like this essentially. So when you have everything in the car, it's pretty much going to look like this. So you have this piece, right? Focus is crazy. Okay, cool. This is going to go through here like that, right? This is going to go in here like that. Your locking nut's going to be here, and then you'll be able to adjust the shortness of it. And then on the bottom here, you would slide that into the casing for the top of the transmission, and then you would put two clips at the end of these to hold them in place. And that's pretty much it. And then you also have the bracket here. So for this ball at the end, you do have a new plastic guide, which they also include a pack of grease. Here, I'll actually show you that real quick. I'm not going to take everything out because I don't want to lose everything. But as you can see here, this pink stuff right here, this is grease. So you put the grease, see this guide, this plastic guide, this goes into the ball like that, and then these actually are channeled into the short shifter, which you also have to install for Forge Motorsports. So now we're getting a whole new shifter linkage in regards of shift feel and responsiveness, getting into in and out of each gear. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get this bolted into the car. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to install the short shift linkage from side to side. So the way that we do that is that we're going to be taking this piece right here. We start off with this piece right here. Come on, focus. Start off with that piece right there, right? And that's going to go in here. All right. So once we have that in place, what we have to do now is get the grease. Oh yeah, we got to get the grease on this ball right here, and there's a reason for it in a minute. So one, plastic gets brittle after a while, so I just need a fine coat, cover it all the way around like that. All right, and after you do that, we need the guide, which is this piece right here. So this guide actually is going to go, it's going to pop directly into this unit like so, like that. So now it can move freely inside and not freeze up. Also here, that locking nut, and they give us 2 clips to hold these in place, but we're not going to do that just yet. Like I showed you before, we're going to take this, we're going to make sure we know that this fits and there's no play. Well, actually there is a little bit of play, so this is the wrong one. So they give you 2 different ones because there's 2 different versions of this kit. So we're going to use this one. This is a slightly bigger and it fits in there perfectly. So what we're going to do is we're going to utilize this. So just for now, we're going to tighten this down, and this will go on, this will go through here, and then we're going to screw this nut in place. Now later on we can adjust the height of this to where we want it, but for now what we're going to do is we're going to keep it right there for now. We're going to keep it loose for now. What we're also going to do, the next step is to actually now do the other kit. So the other kit is going to go in replace of the old shifter that I showed you before. And it's pretty much the same type of lesson with this one. So this was the original one that was in the car. And here's this one. As you can see, it's a lot shorter and it's a lot smaller. The point of where the shifter is going to grab the cable, you can adjust that. Further in, I believe, is more shorter. Further out is more longer. So like I told you with that notch, there's a special notch right there. So what I did was I purposely put the car in neutral already before I took that off. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to lay this in here like so. Perfect. All right, now also what we're going to do is, before we get this guy on, I want to take this guy back out for a second. Well, actually we don't even need to take it out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use that grease again. All right, and we're going to put it inside. We'll put it on the outside here, inside here. You have to only just use a thin layer. You don't have to use a lot. Being New York though, we have a lot of dirt and stuff, so I probably will put a little bit more than required. But you also want to put some in these shelves here, in a plastic piece. You don't have to stretch it out or anything like that. Just make sure that you can get in there a little bit with this stuff. As you see here, that will go like so, like that. But now, as you see, when you shift, it glides smoothly back and forth. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit more on the top, right here, and underneath, and on the bottom here, and underneath. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to shift this thing back like that, and I'm going to do the same thing in the end here. And that's it. Done with the grease for now with that. Wipe your hands with that stuff. And now we're going to make sure we put it back in neutral. Like I said, the way you know it's in neutral, so if you could push down on it, which I'm not in neutral right now. Now I'm in neutral. Okay. We did so far. See how this is all good to go. It's still loose here because I didn't put the clips in yet. So now the only thing that we have to do now is that, since this is good, I'm actually going to let this part go, And we have to do the same thing for this bracket. So now we have to adjust the shortness of this. So if we want the linkage here to go shifting gears, or if we want it here. So this is pretty much where it's stock right here. And then you can adjust the arm accordingly. So the same procedure here, but this one should be a lot easier. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna take this apart like that. I'm just gonna lift up on this. This should not be hard to come out, thank God, because that other one took forever to come out. And now what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna get the same nuts that goes on the bottom here, and it actually is a square groove. There wasn't one on this bracket which would have made this a lot easier so the nut can stay in place in its own groove on the back end side. So then when I try to turn it, so for instance, so if I'm trying to, like let's say if I'm in the car, right? Let's say if I'm at a track day, I don't like the way that this is, I don't, it's too short, I need it a little bit longer, or it's too long, I need it a little bit more shorter. Instead of taking the whole thing apart, all you have to do, this nut will stay locked in the back here. This is why it's etched out back here. So only thing you have to do is loosen the top one, move it from side to side, tighten it down again, and you're good to go. Because the nut, if don't back it up all the way because you're gonna lose the nut, but if you loosen it enough to move it side to side, and then all you have to do is tighten it again. Remember, that nut's not gonna move because it's locked in this groove. So that actually might be really useful in regards of adjustment. But actually what I'm going to go ahead and do now, I'm actually going to get the tools needed to do this, and we should be definitely really good to go soon. So let's get that stuff on. It's nighttime now apparently, as you guys can see, but we got 4K, we got Calvin, we got a Calvin light Calvin here, and we got parts that are very, very awesome and high quality to install that I really want to get installed on this car. So let's go do that really quickly right now. Okay, so don't worry. Ooh, that's all you hear about my house at night is just the highway and people ripping it. So okay, so I'm gonna put the car in neutral. We got the links and everything in. This is nice and tight up here. I'm gonna tighten this down here, but the cool thing about this is that I'm still moving this back and forth because I don't know where I want it. Like I told you about that notch, so literally it's loose right now, but the notch is still in its groove on the bottom. The nut is still in its groove on the bottom end, so I can move this side to side and figure out where I want it. I'm an aggressive guy, so I'm probably gonna go with the most aggressive setting first and figure out, I'll back away from there if I don't like it.
Smart.
So we're in neutral now. As you can see, everything works. I put a little bit of grease in the ball joint. I snapped it in. Here's the guide. There's all the red stuff is the grease that's required to make this guide work. So as you can see, smooth, nice, shift nice and smooth now. Everything's good to go. Neutral. All right, so the last thing that we have to do at this point, so this clip we're not going to use anymore. They provide us new clips, and now since the car's not dirty, these are all new parts, I can take my gloves off. This one goes over here, so we're going to go ahead and put this on right here like so, and after that, I should not have done it that way.
I was just about to say that.
Put this in first. There we go. Work smarter, not harder. Then put that in there like that. And then they give you these clips. I'm also going to do the same thing with this one here. So this one goes on this link right down here. Actually, I can't do that first. I have to tighten that. So let's do that first. Like a glove. So 5/8. Forgot UK. I believe UK uses metrics sizes. All right. So most aggressive setting to the right. Don't worry about this wire, that's my boost tap. How's the race car? No.
A couple days ago I did an oil change, coolant flush.
Okay.
It's running.
Beautiful.
Went to a festival in PA.
Oh, did you? You asked me if I wanted to go. No, I was playing.
No.
Let me stop messing.
And it drove
Beautifully. There you go.
Just needed wheel alignment.
Yup.
Because you know, New York roads.
I see that. All good to go. How's it feel, Calvin?
Again?
Yeah.
First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth.
Go to reverse. Awesome. And Neutral. Perfect. So guys, that's going to conclude the installation of the Forged Motorsports short shifter and their side shifter. I don't know if you guys can see that over there, but we did both right here actually. We did the side shifter here and we did their short shifter arm right here. So guys, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to JR14. There'll be more Forged Motorsports content where this came from. Hope you guys have a good one, and remember guys, cars are a lifestyle. Take care.